leave us some comments.
Because I remember when I was looking at the Facebook one,
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing, I didn't see anybody there, but you know what, maybe they came later. Why is it, there you go. Raw Real.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're just going to take a couple moments to get started. Tony, where's your phone? Here it is.
That
Go on go on the TikTok
This
feed
is
and
a
see
charge.
if our microphones are working. Please.
You know what I was thinking of doing, man? It's,
Always thinking, never doing. What's
Yeah.
going on, Louie? Thank you so much for joining.
what's up, Blue?
We will be starting very, very shortly. We got some fun topics today, ladies and gentlemen.
Blue, fun fact, I'm sporting a semi-chub.
You're supporting the semi-chub?
I'm sporting a semi-chub right
You're sporting the semi-chub
under this
right
laptop.
now. Under this laptop with the heat. Heat on your lap?
Yeah.
Feeling like a cat in heat?
Oh, swag IP.
We're here, baby.
Check.
What's going on, Neil? Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, that's a good sound. Okay, I gotta turn this off because
Yeah, because there's going to be feedback.
yeah.
All
That's
right.
what yesterday was. We had our upstairs.
Yeah, well,
neighbor.
we fixed that issue.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah.
worry.
We lowered it.
All right, are we ready to go?
Dun-dun-dun.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Raw Real Podcast. We are your host. With me, as always, is Coach Tony T. And this week, I'm playing Shane.
Nobody calls you that, but you are kind of plain, bro. No, I'm kidding.
I
I'm
am
kidding.
kind of plain. I'm kind of basic.
Nah, you're not that.
I'm a little basic. While Tony is figuring out the monitor, we're going to just touch briefly on what we're doing today. So today we're introducing a new segment called Story Time. Where
Welcome, Eva. Eva is here. So,
welcome, Eva. Welcome, Kathy. Welcome, everybody. So we're going to be introducing a new segment today called Story Time, and Tony and I are going to be sharing some embarrassing stories from when we were in high school, or at least I have one where I wasn't in high school, but it was in my high school days. And then we'll also be doing, Tony, I can't read. Sorry, unfortunately, guys.
Great debate.
The Great Debate. All right, we're going to be doing What Peeves Me Off, What's Trending, and Story Time. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you like what we do and you want to support us, please make sure to subscribe, like, and follow, and share your content with your friends and family. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to elevate the walls of your home or office with an eye-popping art piece, look no further than Pop Art Boy. Pop Art Boy.
Pop Art Boy. We're going to find the jingle.
We're gonna
make
the
it
jingle.
happen, baby.
You can book your free consultation either over a virtual meeting, or you can reach out to him on Instagram, and in just 2 short weeks, you'll have your own custom piece to hang on your wall of your office and or home. It will surely be a conversation starter for any of the gatherings that you'll be hosting this summer. So, Pop Art Boy, thank you very, very much for your sponsorship. If you'd like to reach out to him, make sure to visit his Instagram page at Pop Art Boy. That's P-O-P-A-R-T-B-O-Y.
Shane, can we check if we are live on Facebook?
Yes.
Real quick, sir.
1 moment.
So, guys, again, Pop Art Boy. This is the beautiful sign they have. They can get you any picture, put it on a canvas, get some neon lights going, and bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah,
you're
we are
on,
live.
baby. Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We are live. Let's get this done, baby.
And we're excited that you're here with us, ladies and gentlemen. All right, for the first segment for today's show, we are going to be starting off with the Great Debate. We've got 3 interesting debate questions. We would love your feedback. So if you are on our live right now, we are checking out our comments. We want to hear from you. And without further ado, we'll get into it. So, Tony, the first debate question for the day is, should the person sitting in the middle aisle of an airplane be entitled to both armrests?
You know what? At first, I was ready to come at this very. I don't know. I was not. I was like, why? Mm-hmm. But the middle aisle, generally speaking, is the worst aisle of them all. Right? You always got to go in between the people. You don't have the window aisle. You have the wall, and obviously the aisle next to the aisle, whatever you call it, aisle what? F.
The aisle seat, and then you have the window seat, and then you have
E,
the
F, G. So if you're in the if you're in the D, it's D, E, F. If you're in the D, you got the aisle, so you got straight access to the bathroom. You got more legroom, technically speaking.
Yes.
So it would be okay. It would be okay. I'm all for it. At first, I thought it was weird that we're gonna talk about that, but I understand it, and I'm all for it.
Excellent. Well, I have to admit that I do agree that if you are sitting in the middle aisle on an airplane, you should be entitled to both armrests. Both the aisle seat and the window seat have their own respective armrests, but I myself, as a larger stature individual at the upper frame, my shoulders are kind of wide when I sit in the middle seat. Although I am a people pleaser, I would like to have access to both armrests, but because I am a people pleaser, I generally tend to keep my elbows to myself and let the other, people use the armrest. But
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It all makes sense.
I'm definitely for it, though, 1,000%. Guys, in the comments, let us know. Cozy is a definite yes. What's going on, Louis? Louis, what do you think? Do you think that the people in the middle aisle of an airplane deserve both armrests? I say 1,000% yes. And to be quite frank with you, anybody sitting in the window aisle or the window seat or the aisle seat should be offering up that armrest to the
RLM Holdings in the house.
What's going
That's
on?
Uncle Mike.
What's
Uncle
going on,
Mike,
Uncle
baby.
Mike? How are you doing, baby?
One of the originators of Montreal podcasting, Uncle Mike. One of the first here.
From coast to coast, right?
Coast to coast,
coast
baby.
To coast,
RLM
baby.
Holdings. This guy always doing something, man. Always a go-getter. RLM Holdings.
Rio recognizes
my
Rio,
man.
baby.
This guy is one of my heroes, man. And fun fact, we did a draft one time. We did a draft where the players were gonna go top 10, and there were trades happening and stuff, and I did big research because I didn't want to let him down. So I did big research. I had everybody's depth chart. That work I use company paper, whatever. Yo, you should have seen the papers I had highlighting players, what their needs were. I had
using company resources.
you
had it down to a T.
I had 9 out of 10 players going to the right team in the top 10.
Oh my god!
And that was the best. The only person that had better than me was Daniel Jeremiah.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was the only person that had.
Uncle Mike, we love you too, baby. We love you too. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn the lights on.
What?
Keep it going.
Okay. I see lights on here. What? Why are we turning on lights? Did that do anything? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So guys, keep contacting us. Airplane Aisle.
Yes.
Just Cozy, welcome also on the Instagram. The guys everywhere.
Louis agrees on TikTok. He agrees that the person sitting in the middle aisle should have access to both armrests. I wholeheartedly agree.
I swear to God, I never thought about this before. I never thought about it, and now you brought it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, they do deserve it. Because what we're talking, I'm like, this is gonna be some BS, like why? I don't understand. And then, okay, each one of them have on the right, on the left, the middle one has. Yeah, let's go.
You know what? I'll even do this. Sometimes I'll just put my elbows on the armrest that's closest to me, so that the other person has access to the front of it, right? So like we're sharing, right? Sharing type deal.
Yeah, but we don't have considerate people like
No,
that.
no. We're degenerates. All right, moving on to the next debate question. Should parents spy on their kids? Now, Tony, I don't think this is like a big issue with, preteens, but I still think parents should have parental controls over certain accesses and devices that their children have access to. But when it comes to like teenagers, do you think you would be a parent who spies on your children?
Like, I don't, as teenagers, no, but look, I would like to have, and I've talked about somebody and they said no, it's a privacy issue, but I like, even my kids now, I want access to the classroom, to a classroom camera.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what's happening in class, because look, especially look, my kid 8 years old. You have an exam this week. Oh no, I don't know. Like kids are not going to relate. They're not like that yet. And when you talk to other parents, every kid says something different to their parents. So there's 3-4 different stories. So I like to have access. And there's certain courses that my son, I feel should be knowing a certain thing without me trying to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't happened. So I'd like to know what's happening in class. Maybe he's not focusing in class, which, look, I'm not the guy, my son, my daughter's perfect. No.
Right.
I know they're not, because I was like that. I even tell my son, do you, like, doze off? Dans la lune, they call it. Are you staring
in the moon,
to the
stars?
Moon? FY, a pet peeve, we'll talk about it later. To the moon and back, we'll talk, anyways, whatever.
You got it.
Okay, so I would like that. In terms of spying on your kids, not having a camera on them, but I would like to track their phone. Because the way kids sometimes get kidnapped nowadays, I find it is important to know where they are. And look, if they have an iPhone or Android, whatever it is, app that there is, I like to know that they know where I am as well. Okay?
I don't think
we should be able to track.
Vic, just so we can see your beautiful face, but I don't think I would want my kids to know where I am, because giving my children or child that information might make them get up to some sneaky stuff, get into a little trouble if they see that, oh, my dad or my mom, they're half an hour away.
V. Collins agrees.
Yeah,
we should,
right? But then again, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was young, having grown up with ADHD, and when I was in grade 2, for most of actually my elementary school life, I was put in the back of the class because I was somewhat of a disturber, a disruptor, right? Always fidgeting around, not being able to maintain my focus towards the front of the classroom, and I was often a disruptor. So they would put me in the back of the class. And my mom decided one day to make a surprise visit at school. And you remember back in elementary school where the classroom doors had these really narrow plexiglass windows?
Yeah.
So my mom was staring at me for about 20 to 25 minutes through the window. What's up, D. Collins? And I looked everywhere around the classroom except for the front of the classroom, right? So I guess to your point, Tony, it would be interesting to know what our children are doing inside the classroom, whether or not they're behaving outside of your presence, right? Whether they're getting up to no good, whether they're being insubordinate towards their teachers, and whether they're becoming disruptive with their peers. But at the same time, I also think that it's interesting now that we're seeing more and more videos of teachers losing their cool in the classroom, and children having access to mobile devices and cell phones are recording that type of behavior. The one thing I want to say about that, ladies and gentlemen, is that your children are capturing a video in the spur of the moment, and they're only capturing one side of that interaction, which is obviously the reaction to whatever it is that the students are putting the teacher through. So I definitely, some part of me thinks that, there should be some sort of mechanisms to be able to check in on your children, especially when they're not in your immediate supervision. But then as it relates to like privacy and growing up as a teenager, I don't know, man, you're touching into some like trust issues, right? And at the end of the day, you want your children to trust that they can come to you with anything. And I think that if you start the behavior of constantly making them feel like they have to look over their shoulder, I think that promotes the behavior of becoming sneaky, right? I mean, if your children get the sense that you're always, you've always got an eye on them, right? Or you're always looking out for what it is that they're doing, that they'll become even better at hiding whatever it is that they're looking to hide. So I'm kind of on the fence. I think that, it's important for parents to establish strong lines of communication, let them know that no subject is not too sensitive to discuss. All right, and another thing as parents, guys, you have to make sure that you're not reacting in a negative way, so that when your child does have something sensitive to bring to your attention, they won't question whether or not they can trust you with that information, right? So I think that when you're bringing your children up, in my opinion, of course, when you're bringing your children up, you want to create those strong lines of communication and that level of trust with your children. Let them know that, although I am your parent and I am responsible for you, you can come and you can talk to me about anything that there is. And I think that that's the ultimate goal at the end of the day.
Well, look, my brother, his family, and now they're teenagers, his kids, so they all can see where each of them are. They all have iPhones, and there's, I guess, the Find My iPhone thing, and they all have this app, and they all can track each other. One time I was asking my goddaughter, "Where's your father?" "Oh, he's 5 minutes away." She knew. So they've established the fact that we're doing this for good. You're not spying on them. You're not listening in on their conversations. Mm-hmm. I would never want to do that, obviously, but knowing where they are, to me, would be important, just in case one day something happens. The kid Ariel there.
Yes.
His poster is still there.
Yes.
Corner of Lackady and Henry Barassa, around where we live, basically a kid that was taken, and it still has not been found.
Mm-hmm.
So if this kid had some kind of Find My iPhone or tracker,
or a tile or something,
maybe he could have been found, and you don't want that to happen to anybody's kid. Now, us, we're living our lives, but that parent, lost the most important person in their life. And, just for that sake, not spying on them, maybe not even in the classroom.
But keeping tabs, right?
But just keeping tabs. At a certain age, we don't need the thing from the classroom. The kids can tell their own stories, and you can really catch them in a lie at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Having things like tiles, and D. Collins, I'm going to get to your comment in just a second. That was a great comment on TikTok. But just to add to that, I think adding a tile to either your child's shoe or to their school bag or something like that, I think that's a great tool to be able to keep track of your child if you have any safety concerns. And D. Collins mentioned that he hates how he feels unsafe taking his kids to school because of school shit things.
School shootings.
School shootings.
And so Collins and he says also, I hate our president. So he is American. So we got Americans joining us on the show. Welcome, guys. And so for them, it's on another level as well with these shootings, right?
Yeah.
Us, we only had one certain event where we had bomb threat here in Canada. Remember, we had it in 3 different places.
Yes.
Threats and stuff.
Scary shit,
and it happens in the States more often. And that stuff, it's scary too. So maybe if there is cameras, stuff like that, I don't know how you could do with the protection, with gun laws and stuff. Because look, either way, bad people are still going to have access to guns. And sometimes people need to protect themselves with guns. Can you give teacher guns? Now they have to do training. Are they paid enough for that?
Yeah, I don't.
There's a bunch. So. It's really a touchy subject. And anyways, man, this is something in terms of parents spying on their kids. I like to have a video. I like to have access to see, just like when you have a house alarm, house camera, you have access to it every time from your phone through a Wi-Fi connection or 5G network. It is good just to know you're safe. But then now, when we talk about that, we're talking about maybe government having access to that now. But government now is checking us. We want to check on our kids to see their well-being. Now the government wants to do that to pick out every little thing that you're doing.
That's the thing, Tony. I mean, at the end of the day, right, some of these tools are great tools, but in the hands of the wrong people can be devastating and detrimental to our society. Louis has a question.
Yes.
But how did it make me feel when my mom was staring at me through the window? Did my friends make fun of me? I was in grade 2, so I must have been around 7 or 8 years old. I didn't even notice that my mom was at the front door. The majority of the parents, or the majority of the students rather, were all focused at the front of the class of what the teacher was saying. So nobody pointed out that my mom was there. My mom did tell me later on that evening that she was at the school and she did make a surprise appearance and was watching me. But as a child having ADHD, you don't really understand that at that age. Growing up later on, I realized wow, these were things that my parents were noticing at an early age, and there was a lack of information available regarding how to treat ADHD beyond just taking medications. So to answer your question more specifically, didn't feel anything specifically about it. Wasn't embarrassed or anything like that.
But back in the day, they didn't have cameras, and I know we're going over the subject line. Maybe we'll cut the next one, but whatever. Just a funny story, because I know my mom messaged me. She voice messaged me about this, and I can't put it now, but I know what she's going to probably talk about. Back in the day when I used to go home, she used to say something I did at school. And I'm like, how did you know? She's like, a little birdie told me. And I used to freaking stare outside. I was 8, 9 years old. I'm like, staring outside. Where the hell? I stared outside to see where this bird was. You know? So parents find ways because, especially in the Armenian community, like, they all talk to each other. It's a TMZ, man. It's a TMZ there. Everybody knows everybody's business. And so that was hilarious. And I got faked for a while. And now I'm like, oh, no, okay, it's Auntie Alice or Auntie whatever that is probably saying the story, or the teacher that she knows very well and is good friends with her that I didn't know. And, you know, they found ways to know what you were doing in class.
They all had it out for you, Tony, man. They all had it out for you. D. Collins, yes, there should be more security in school. I think, Tony, we'll cover one of those topics in the next debate segment in the next couple of weeks about how we think we should provide better security for our children in school. But moving on to the very last debate topic for the great debate. Is it acceptable at all to wear socks with sandals?
Honestly, I don't have the prettiest toes, so it's acceptable. Look, nobody really wants to see your toes, right? Even if you have pretty toes. Like, not a lot of people want to see toes, especially men toes.
No,
maybe because women take care of it, unless you're a man and you do your pedicure and stuff, which is, by the way, that's totally hetero. It's not all like, don't feel some type of way. If you do the pedicure, it's actually really good for you.
It really is.
It's really good for you. If you do that, I got a crooked toe. Like, my brother always makes fun of me, so I wear socks with the sandals.
I don't want to.
If you don't like it.
I don't want to add on to what your brother says, but you do have an ET phone home finger toe, bro.
Yeah, it's like it's and both ones like
all it's missing is like the glowing at the tip.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. If you were to get on a bicycle, sometimes I think you'd be flying into the sky.
Proves my point.
But I think it's acceptable. But then again, what are we talking about? Are we talking about ankle socks? Are we talking about shin socks? Are we talking about knee highs? Are any of them acceptable? Kathy says no. Kathy thinks it looks ridiculous when anybody is wearing socks and sandals together. We see oftentimes these TikTok videos of individuals wearing knee-high socks and shin socks with sandals. I personally don't mind it. To be honest with you, I'm somebody that tends to sweat a lot, especially in the summer. So wearing a sandal that's slick underneath, especially if I'm outside cutting the grass or watering the lawn or doing some cleaning outside, or I remember one time I was washing the car outside and I slipped and my foot almost broke the sandal because it was slippery underneath. So that's why I wear socks. It's not for aesthetics, it's not for looks, it's more practical for me. But guys, in the comments, let us know, is it acceptable to wear socks and sandals at the same time? Louis says no socks whatsoever. I disagree.
Look, I have black flip-flops, I wear black socks, so it's not too much of a...
And that's another thing.
White socks,
black socks, does it make a difference? Is it acceptable?
You look ridiculous when I started today with the white socks and the flip-flops.
Did you? Did I look ridiculous? No.
Nah, I really don't care, but it was a bit weirder.
D. Collins says ankle socks, so ankle socks is okay. Louis says no socks whatsoever.
My man, that guy knows. D. Collins knows.
Guys, let us know in the comments on Facebook and on Instagram. I find it super comfortable, to be honest with you. There are some sandals that have this like memory foam on the sole to make it more comfortable, and I find that I've had 2 pairs of those. One of them that I made it a point not to wear socks, and another one where I wore socks. And Sean, what's going on? And I can tell you with utmost honesty, the ones where I didn't wear socks didn't make it very long, right? The memory foam, I guess, absorbed all that sweat, made it very, very firm, and I wasn't able to keep it in the house simply because they smelled. So On a Sunday, so D. Collins says on a Sunday with Crocs and ankle socks. I like that. It rhymes. You're my dude. You're my dude.
That's Crocs, man. Oh, okay, that's a subject for another day.
Yeah, we're gonna do that on another debate.
D. Collins lost me there. He lost me there.
I guess,
Still love though. Still love.
I guess the question is what's acceptable in terms of wearing Crocs?
Honestly, my kids one time saw Crocs. I said, "You're never wearing that."
Never wearing them.
But apparently it's
really
super
good.
comfortable. But
Yes.
I really don't care.
Is it the aesthetics? Is it the look?
It is the look.
Do you
It
feel
looks
like-
a bit ridiculous.
Do you feel like a platypus walking around?
I don't know what it
Or
feels
a
like.
duck?
It's so weird. It's so weird, man. I don't know what to say. Hey, I don't know what to say about that. But Crocs are weird aesthetically, and I just have it made up in my mind that it's never happening.
And
I'm
now-
sure one day I'm gonna wear it. I'm like, oh, this is so comfortable,
Kathy-
and I'm gonna
Kathy
have this
says-
decision.
Kathy says that's a topic on its own. No, I'm saying on a Sunday I wear socks and Crocs. Okay, I don't mind. I think
One day a week is
one
not
day,
enough.
one day a week is alright. But here's the thing that I kind of have an issue with. If you're going out and you're, how do I say this, like tuning up your Crocs with accessories, or like flashing them out, you know, putting pins in those holes, making it all like, I don't know. I
People
think that's
do
just
that?
one step too far. People do that. Like at first they were like accessories for children that you could just pop on, right? So kids would be, oh, look at my Spider-Man pin, or look at my Dora the Explorer. But now they're getting like with these
Adults
really-
are into it.
Adults are into it now, and I
Man,
think
adults like doing that stuff.
I think it makes you a very specific type of individual if you're going out and you're flossing out your Crocs. But that's it. All right, I think it's acceptable 1,000% to wear socks and sandals. Guys, let us know in the comments how you feel about it. We'd love to hear from you. All right.
Guys, are you looking to add that extra spark on your wedding, corporate, birthday, or celebratory event? Then look no further, because 36Q has the best 360 video booth solution that will liven up any party. You will be creating unique and new memories available to download onto your phone digitally in seconds. This will allow your guests to share their experience with friends and family on social media, and will definitely help draw a bigger crowd at your next event. 36Q will bring life to any party and have people raving about it even after the event has come to an end. If you would like to find out more information about their video booth solutions, make sure to follow 36Q on Instagram and TikTok at 36Q Video. You can also email them at 36qvideo@gmail.com. And lastly, you can call them directly at 438-863-1017, 438-863-1017. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to make your event the one that stands out from the rest, all while capturing those special and fun lasting memories forever. Thank you for your sponsorship, 36Q. We love you.
We love you very, very much, man.
We love you.
We love you, 36Q.
Ooh. Jingles, baby.
We got to work on these jingles, man. We got to work on these jingles. All right, we're moving on to the next topic, which is what peeves me off. And we got some interesting ones here, guys. Guys, remember, if you're following us, or if you're watching us live right now, make sure to like, follow, and share the live feed with your friends and family so that they can join and laugh with you as well. All right, Tony, this pisses me off every single time I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're not one of these individuals, but people who are grooming in public places, such as the office, on a plane, or in a train, on a metro, and I'm talking about people clipping their toenails in an office space, or on a plane, or on a train. Stop doing this.
Now grooming. Is there anything else with that, or is it just that? Because obviously that's the most disgusting, right? I don't think you should even like maybe file your nails. I don't know, because like you're really
You're taking
nails,
stuff off.
off,
It's
yeah.
organic material that you're taking off your body, right? And here's another one that I've seen, flossing. Now, I don't mind, you know, like you're at work, you eat lunch, you go to the bathroom, you floss. I really don't mind. But you're sitting on a public metro, a train.
even in your office on your desk, like.
I mean,
like, come on, man, come on.
just go
come
to
on.
the washroom, guys. Stop being so disgusting in public. I get it. You're taking care of yourself, but there's a time and there's a place. So please stop grooming yourselves. Like, this toenail clipping business in public, it has to stop. Like, please, I'm begging you. It's disgusting.
Did you have a recent issue with that, or
No, I've seen it, and I'm like, here's the thing though, when you're clipping your toenails, all right, for most people who are using like nail clippers, the trajectory of that nail, all right, once it leaves, like once it's been removed from your toe, you don't have control over where that goes. And there are people sitting around you. How would you feel if you were sitting on a bus, all right, and somebody 5 seats down has their foot on the seat, clipping their toenail, and all of a sudden you got this toenail that makes its way onto your lap. It's not your toenail, it's someone else's disgusting toenail that has now landed on your lap. What do you do? What do you do, man?
disgusting? Yeah, that's disgusting. It shouldn't even be an issue, but there's some people that are just.
What would you
They're not
do,
conforming.
Tony? Would you touch it? Would you tell that person, come and take this off of me? Would you stand up and brush it off? What would you do? What is the appropriate thing to do, guys, in that situation? Let us know in the comments. We really want to know. You're sitting down on public transportation, on a bus, on a train, or on a plane, and somebody in close proximity is clipping their toenails, and a toenail comes flying in your direction and lands on your clothes.
Which brings us really to the. I was gonna call it shahata. A sandal without socks. Nobody wants to see your toes. The only place you should be wearing sandals should be next to the pool at your house or at the beach. That's it. And if not, that's why I put my socks on, because I don't want to see your toes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to see my toes. I don't want to go to a restaurant and have somebody's
somebody
toes
else's
out.
toes.
No, I don't want that. It's simple as that. So imagine cutting toenails. Come on, man.
Louis
And plus,
is
it's in your
asking-
hands. It's disgusting.
it's
like
disgusting.
even if it's in your hand and you're not dropping it, you're touching stuff after from your feet. Have you ever cut your toenails and sometimes like smell? It's like you work. After 10 days, I'm like, damn, man, that's some nasty shit. So
Tony.
it's not good. Look, hey, we're raw, we're real, baby.
That's
we're
right.
raw, real.
We're raw,
Real.
Louis is asking, what about people who pick their nose in public? Here's the thing. I think that to a certain extent it has to happen, but if it's going to happen, use a bloody Kleenex and cover your nose if you're going to do it in public. Nobody wants to see you, all right, put your finger up your nose and pull out some booger sugar, all right, or some shit like that. Nobody wants to see that then hanging from your nose, pulling your finger, and then, nah, it's just nasty.
It's got to be like a quick, if you're going to. You know what? Sometimes in the car, when you're doing it, you think you're alone, but other people can see it. One time my uncle passed by and he caught me. He caught me.
He caught
beep,
you.
beep. I'm like, oh, that was my uncle.
I think it's only acceptable for children, all right, to be quite
For
honest with
$2, show me your toes.
you. For $2, Mark Roy. $2, baby, $2. All right, yeah, picking your nose, dental flossing your teeth, clipping your toenails in public. Guys, just don't do it. Stop it. It's nasty, all right?
Exactly.
Moving on to the next pet peeve. Lending something to somebody and never getting it back, or getting it back in worse condition than you received it. Guys, I mean, I don't know. When I borrow something from somebody, all right, I treat that thing as if it's not mine, right? It belongs to somebody else. I treat it with the utmost care and respect, right? Because that's how I'd like my things to be borrowed and returned, right? In the same manner, in the same condition that it was lent out in. But oftentimes people are seriously just too careless with other people's things, and it really peeves me off. We have to, if a friend of yours is going to respect you by, borrowing or lending something to you because you're in a moment of need, then the very least you could do is just respect and take care of that thing. Tony, what are your thoughts, man?
Look, me, one thing I take pride in is somebody maybe lends me money or lends me something, and when they forget and I bring it back, oh, you know what? I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I take pride in it because one thing is for sure.
Makes you feel honest, right?
Yeah. Like one thing I know, I even told a friend of something from last year where he left his gin with us, And I told him, dude, we were looking for you the next morning. Oh, so you guys took my gin, but he was joking, obviously.
This
but
was
it's
in Toronto.
yeah, and we were looking for him the next morning. We're trash, we're ready to go home, and we're looking for this guy. We didn't drink his gin. He handled an issue that was happening at the wedding, an argument. So we're like, okay, we'll wait for you with the gin. We didn't open the gin until he came, but he never came because that problem obviously escalated. And yeah, man, so...
Which, by the way, that was at Ashot's wedding. Ashot, happy birthday to you. Congratulations to you and your wife for the blessing that you guys have just received. We saw the videos. You're expecting a baby boy. Super happy, super proud. What a beautiful birthday gift to receive on your birthday weekend. What amazing news. But yeah, 1000%. I mean, one of the things, Tony and I grew up in the era of audio cassettes. All right, we used to have Walkman, and for the younger crowd out there watching us, Walkmans are like iPods, but you actually had to put a device inside another device to listen to music.
Imagine we're trying to explain cassette tapes.
I
It's
know.
possible some people might not know what that
Or
is.
a rotary phone. But just getting back to my story, I remember I've lent out tons of audio cassettes to my friends, and they always come back with the ribbing, pulled out of the cassette. And I have to sit
And
there
that's the
with
most
a
important
pencil,
part.
and I have to sit there with a pencil, winding it all back up again. So it really peeves me off when
Or if the lyric page was ripped. Oh man, I love the lyric page. I love reading. That's it.
Exactly. The cover of it. Guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Have you ever lent out something to a friend or family member and it came back in a condition that was no longer usable? We'd really like to know. And then the very, very last pet peeves is booking online doctor's appointments versus the old walk-in way. Now, this happened to me recently, ladies and gentlemen, where I had to take my wife to the clinic because she was suffering an ear infection. Now, she got the infection or started feeling the symptoms on a Friday, and obviously most clinics are not open on the weekend, so we waited until Monday. But lo and behold, there is a new system here in Canada, or at least in Quebec, where you must book your appointments online versus walking in and waiting. This is super, super frustrating. It's a pet peeve of mine. So this is what happened. We walked into the clinic, me assuming this was an emergency walk-in clinic. Get to the counter. Woman says, I'm sorry, we don't have any availability today. Here's a card. Go online and book your appointment online.
I'd like to know how the booking went.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how it went, please.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. So I got home, went onto the web page, and it said, oops, something went wrong. Check back again later. Now, my wife is in pain. She's crying. She's breaking my heart, man. I can't stand to see my wife suffer. Now, my wife knows I'm a bit of a hothead, right? Tony knows this too.
Yeah.
I've had it out.
Don't burn his toast. I'll tell you that much.
Don't burn my toast. All right. We'll talk about that on another episode. My wife already knows that I'm preconditioned to stand up for her, and I'm pretty aggressive. So I'm a Taurus by nature. Fuck around and find out. Grab me by the horns and see what happens. But I told my wife, I said, listen, honey, don't you worry. I'm going to go back to the clinic, and I'm going to make it happen for you. I'm going to make you an appointment. Don't you worry. So I go, and I get to the counter, and I said, you know what? 9 times out of 10, I usually lose my shit in situations like this. But I said, you know what? The poor lady behind the counter doesn't deserve that, right? So I said, listen.
She didn't create the system.
She didn't create the system. She didn't create the situation. And I just have to tell her, listen, I know you're just doing your job, but I heeded your advice. I went home, I went onto this web page, and nothing's working, And I showed her, I gave her my phone, and she went and typed in the information again. I gave her my wife's Medicare card, and oops, something went wrong. Please check again later. Oops. So she kind of felt bad. I said, listen, I'm a little frustrated with our system right now. I just need my wife to be able to see the doctor, get a prescription, because otherwise we got to go to the emergency room and wait 24 to 48 hours, because obviously having an ear infection doesn't constitute going to the emergency room. So I pleaded. I said, listen, if you could be doing me the world of a favor, if you could just kindly find a place. She goes, oh, I can't do that. But our schedule comes out at 3:30 in the afternoon. I said, Miss, I will pay you if you could take one of those availabilities off the calendar before you upload it into the system and just put my wife's name there. She saw how desperate I was, and she just said, wait one moment. And she walked out from behind the counter. She went to the doctor. She came back out. She looked at me, and she gives me this. And I felt a little depleted. I'm like, man, I really tried doing it the right way, you know, tried to be calm, tried to be kind, courteous, understanding, compassionate. And I realized that she was just shaking her head, all right, for the other people who were in the waiting room. Because when I got to the window, she goes, listen, we don't normally do this, but the doctor is willing to make an exception. Come back at 4:50. And so she was shaking her head because
she didn't want the rest of the people.
She didn't want the rest of the people to see that we were kind of getting, you know, special treatment. And I do want to say I am super, super thankful and grateful to the administrator sitting behind the counter who made that appointment. Because having to come home afterwards, all right, if I didn't have that appointment, and being on a website for I don't know how many hours I would have had to have been on that website, checking availability, and I mean, it went as far, Tony, as checking within 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer.
Oh no, it does not work.
50 kilometer radius.
When I went to the clinic, because my doctor was not there, my family doctor was not there, I went to the clinic. I had to go there at 6, wait until they open, and you can take an appointment for noon.
It's for noon, yeah. They give you a number, right?
They give you a number, but
yes.
They tell you come at this time. If you go in at 6 a.m. or 6:30, whatever, and people wait there, and they're there before, and they start giving 12 o'clock, 12:15, whatever it is, the time. Mm-hmm. And I've tried going online, and the reason I went at 6 in the morning, because I've gone online for a few days in a row, I couldn't get nothing done. And that's what I hate about it. Book an online appointment, but it doesn't work. And it's the same for the drivers. Like, I got a letter for my picture, for I do it before June 16. Mm-hmm. There's no appointment before June 16, so I have to wait in line for 3 hours. That I didn't play golf that day, you know. Because to take a picture. And that thing took me legit 2 seconds. Like, it took me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes, I was done, I was out. I waited 3 hours for this.
And you know what the crazy thing is? My wife has a family doctor, all right? And we go on the website, and it shows her family doctor.
Yeah, but that too. It's not.
But there wasn't an appointment until mid-June. Christ, what are people supposed to do? Guys, let us know in the comments, all right, what your thoughts are.
And if you're a doctor, let us know also.
Yes.
Submit like an audio recording to us. We can play it and we can discuss it furthermore. Something like that. Let's get talking about it, because there is a broken system. Although it's free to healthcare, it's got a lot of problems. We should be lucky to have the free healthcare, but at the same time, private healthcare, everything goes fast.
I mean, we even looked into that option, and I think my wife said it was anywhere from $150 or $300 to book an appointment to see a doctor, you know, a private doctor. So guys, let us know. Super frustrating. It peeves me off every single time. Luckily, my wife and I were in somewhat really good health, so we don't rely on the system that much. But I mean, just to go and show you, when we need it, we couldn't access it without doing something extraordinary to be able to get service. All right, guys, moving on to the next topic. It's what's trending. We've got 3 topics. The first one, we're talking about Joe Biden. I know, we live in Canada, I know, but something needs to be said about this gentleman, okay? For those of you who have been watching in the news, Joe Biden takes another slip and another fall at an Air Force graduation. Apparently, he's been lacing deuces or accidentally having deuces in his underwear or farting at a political gathering. I mean, Tony, individuals at his age acting the way that he does, they get their license revoked. All right? And here we have this guy who's falling, crapping his own pants, and he's running a country. Explain this to me.
Look, people wanted a person who knows how to speak. You know, people want to hear what they want somebody to tell them what they want.
I'm going to internationalize depression. Are you talking about that?
Like, no, but when first Biden was voted and whatever, a lot of people are, he's nice though. He's nice.
He's nice though.
Trump is too Trump is too real. He says things. He shook up everything because he wasn't a politician. And but the way he spoke, maybe if he was off Twitter, everything would be better because the numbers would speak for themselves because he ran the country like a business.
Exactly.
But when he was talking, he wasn't being nice. But Republicans also, they tend to be very right wing, and people put them as, racist or whatever it may be. And look, I don't want to speak of politics or whatnot, but one thing I'll say, to be the leader of a country, you have to be capable. And we all know the president doesn't really fully run the country. It's people behind him that are telling him what to do, what to say. He's writing tweets like, I helped lower the gas prices. MFer, you're the reason it went up.
Exactly. And he never brought it down to its lowest point ever.
It went up on your watch. So don't say that. So people are writing behind. People are writing the tweets. People are controlling, and he's just a face. He's not making all of these decisions.
I still don't understand.
But everybody's looking. They're seeing it now that
are they
people are making fun. They're making fun of the people, and I don't know if everybody knows because look, Democrats they're very they're empathetic, and look, have some empathy too. Maybe he tripped off a wire. Look, he farts on himself. I fart. I don't know, but he doesn't seem capable to run a country, let alone drive a car, let alone walk on the street, cross the street alone.
Yeah, and I just want to say this. If you are in between the ages of 35 and 40, stop trusting your farts. 9 times out of 10, they're sharks. All right. No, but seriously, guys, I don't know how this individual is running a country. People are saying he's nice. You're saying people are waking up to the fact and are they really, though? Because I'm still seeing people support a man who can't formulate a sentence.
Because they know that he's just the face of the Democrats, and the team is more important than the individual in this case, right?
Okay.
So that's why I feel like they're just blindly defending. Just like people defend Trump on certain things that he says, which is sometimes, you're way out of pocket, dude. Like, yeah. You're being honest, but dude, some things, don't say it. Like
Kathy says he can't even ride a bike anymore. 1,000%. He can't ride a bike.
He can't cross the street alone.
He can't cross the street. He can't hold in his bowel movements. How is he running a country? Guys, get him out of here.
People should see that at least. At least if you're a Democrat and you want somebody Democrat to run the country, at least just admit that this man is not capable.
Bernie Sanders would have been a much better candidate.
Yeah, and they say he's old, but look at Biden. Anyway, the things need to change in the political landscape because there's too much Republican and Democrats, and there's really, unfortunately, an independent would never win because people are married to the liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican ideology. So I don't know how you can change it. What needs to be done, it has to be little steps, and it will not happen for another 10, 20 years, 12, 16, 20 years. I find if it were to happen, and even at that, it'll be hard.
Biggest takeaway for Joe Biden, take little steps. All right, the next one on what's trending. This is a very, very sad and unfortunate story. I'm almost heartbroken, but we definitely have to point out the stupidity in this. So there has been a video circulating on social media where a teenager, after his high school graduation, participated on a party on a boat. And I don't know whether or not he was dared or whether he just dared himself to jump off the boat, but it is important to note that they were in the Bahamas, all right? Very close to the Bermuda Triangle on a cruise ship. Well, it wasn't a cruise ship, or it was some sort of a cruise ship, a party boat. And so anyways, this teenager, very sad, decides to jump off the boat, and even one of his classmates who was filming it while he was jumping said, "See you later," or "Goodbye." And a few seconds later, you see the teenager getting pulled underwater. They never found his body. The Coast Guard called off the search. Parents called off the search.
Possible shark infestation? Is that
there is some speculation that there was a shark fin because, again, this video was shot at night. And so you couldn't really see what was going on in the water. You could see the student. And then at one moment, you don't see him anymore. And I think it's important to talk about this and point out the stupidity, all right? because I find that social media is kind of promoting this behavior of attention grabbing, attention seeking, chasing clout, just for like 5 seconds of internet fame. You know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're jumping off of a sizable vessel, guys. You could be pulled in by the toe of the propeller of the boat itself, right? So that's one thing that could suck you in and just, you know, it's like putting a carrot in a blender, right? That's what it is. And then, secondly, you're in the Bermuda Triangle in the Bahamas. You're in shark-infested waters, all right? There are tropical fish. There are huge fish. Some fish that don't even eat other fish that are bigger than us, that could swallow us by accident, you know? It's a tragic, tragic story, but guys, what the fuck are you doing?
And you know, maybe you're in the moment and you're drunk, but sometimes you just really gotta think. Look, as a guy who likes to have a drink or two, or 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We're talking high school graduates,
we should,
Tony.
you know, especially in high school, like it's jumping off the water. You know, you're thinking at that moment in time, you're doing something to impress your friends. Sometimes don't try to impress people. Maybe if you're doing it for your enjoyment, but yo, that jump was high. That jump was high, and you're in Pacific Ocean. Like no, in any ocean, you can't jump in there, man. You don't know what there is there. If it's not close to the border, don't go in that water.
You've been to Mexico, right? You've been to Mexico with your family?
Yeah.
Guys, it's important to pay attention to the flagpole, all right, that the Coast Guard or the beach security put out on the beach, all right? I myself, when I was 15 years old, went to Mexico with my father and my brother, and it was a day where there was about 30-foot waves. And I decided to be a smart aleck because I had swam most of my life, taken swimming courses and swim meet. And I jumped into a 30-foot wave, and the undertow took me about 70 feet to offshore. All right. Now, luckily for me, my mom taught me what to do in a situation where you get caught under undertow. And for those of you who don't know what undertow is, when a wave comes in and it hits the shore, it's the water that's coming back into the water that sweeps you under your feet and takes you out into the sea. This is what's called undertow. And for most of you who have swam in salt water, you don't open your eyes, right? Because it's burning, right? It burns you.
Yeah.
So what you want to do in that situation is you wait until the wave has taken you under, until the water is somewhat calm, blow bubbles, and then swim in the direction of those bubbles because air rises, okay? But for this individual, listen, my heart goes out to this child's family. I'm super, super sorry for what you're experiencing and what you have to go through. I hope this is a lesson for the rest of you out there. And Tony, we've seen trends like this before. Children eating Tide Pods, detergent, guys. Stop it, all right? Be a little bit more creative, all right? Don't be so reactive to do stupidities on the internet just for 5 seconds of fame. All right, we got one more topic for what's trending. Tony's gonna love this one.
This is hilarious. British guy lets girlfriend sleep with other men while he's at work. So he said Matt, 36, and 31-year-old Zoe from the UK had only been dating a few months when he suggested that she sleep with other men. And somewhat surprisingly, it didn't lead to a relationship breakdown. That's what the article says.
So wait a minute. He suggested that his girlfriend sleep with other men.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Zoe said when you agreed... So speaking to Zoe in the clip from this Love Don't Judge channel on YouTube, a YouTube series called Love Don't Judge, Matt explained that he had initially suggested the idea. Speaking to Zoe said, when you agreed to it, I was happy with it because I've spoken to you previously. I'd been cheated on. So Matt had been cheated on. And so in order to avoid that paranoia and that worry that his girl, because look, if you look at the girl in the picture, she is really pretty. Like she would definitely get some attention. She would get some attention. So this man, so he's like, she was sending him videos and photos of her doing the deed with the other guys, and you know, it said I ended up being involved in it virtually. It was like my own amateur porn. That's what.
Jesus.
And so Zoe, she runs her own OnlyFans account now and shares the content.
What's going on?
So I guess there's a double thing going on here where now she's making money off of it, and him, he doesn't mind. So there's got to be some kind of secure. The guy has been cheated on, so you would think he's insecure, but it shows really. Look, I don't know if I would or if I would ever be like that, but I kind of respect the man that he's not insecure about it, because in the end, a lot of relationships, they break down because of sexual frustration, or not giving that thing. And this man is letting her, look, I can give it to you to let other guys if it gets you off and if you feel great. And in the comments on Instagram, you should see a lot of women supported the guy,
guys,
and like saying that, oh, this man understands.
Guys, let us know in the comments whether you're the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the wife, or the husband. Would you let your partner sleep with someone else? All right, we really want to know. I personally wouldn't. I think for me, Tony, it's too intimate. Those are feelings that you want to keep, in the confines of your relationship. And again, listen, there are other people out there who are way more liberal than I am, and that's fine. If you feel as though that you can have a healthy relationship where it's not monogamous on both ends. I mean, I don't know, Tony, does the article mention whether or not he's allowed to
he
have
says he
suitors?
doesn't want to sleep with anybody else. It says that, but they do. But the article also says that sometimes they go to swinger clubs and such. And swingers are actually,
that's what I want to know.
They're
I
happy.
know if she's
But
they
go to swinger clubs, and she would let him, but he doesn't really do it.
He doesn't do it.
Yeah, he doesn't do it because. But look, the guy too is a good-looking dude. Like we saw the picture there.
Know, Tony, is that a test? Let's talk about it for 2 seconds before we move on. Is that a test, right? Like, this guy has been cheated on so many times, right? That he's going out and saying, yeah, it's okay, do whatever you want. But is he really happy? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Guys,
well, look, they seem, from the article, it seems like they have a great relationship. From what I read, he was happy, and he doesn't consider, they don't consider it cheating because they agreed upon it together. Right. They had that conversation. And
talk about it
look, in the end, all healthy relationships go through discussions, and these guys are maybe taking a more unorthodox approach, but it is clear that it is working out for them. Now, in the long run, is it going to be the case? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know, because maybe the girl, falls in love with one of these guys that, she's sleeping with, or maybe she is able to keep it sexual and loves this man because he is like that and he's not insecure and he's looking after her, and he's looking after my sexual needs with this, and he's okay with it. So, it's unorthodox, but to each his own. To each their own.
Let us know, guys.
And if they're healthy, good on them, and respect to the man. He's secure about himself.
He's a good looking guy.
He's secure about it. So, all respect.
Good for him, man. Guys, let us know in the comments. We'd really like to know. All right, we're moving on to our next sponsor, Swag IPTV. If you want to learn how to access over 3,500 live TV channels, which includes live sports, local and international channels, with on-demand movies and TV series on your Fire Stick, Android, or Apple device, then go to www.swagiptv.com for all the details on how to access all your favorite TV shows and sports live, at home, or on the go. Thank you very much for your sponsorship, Swag. We love you very much.
Love it.
All right, moving on to the next and very last topic. It's story time. This is a new one, ladies and gentlemen. And what we're discussing, this is a question that I'm going to start asking people during the interviews that I do online about their most embarrassing high school experience. And although my experience doesn't necessarily take place in the brick and mortar building of my high school, it was during the high school era, all right? I was trying out for a football team, a midget football team. And I don't mean midget as in little people, I mean that was the name of the division. It was midget AAA football for the Laval Bulldogs. And growing up as a teenager, I kind of got along with everybody, right? I wasn't one who stuck to like one circle of friends. Tony knows this. He's very similar in that we get along with many different people. We got along with many different groups. And so for the longest time, I did not receive my initiation. I didn't receive my hazing from my team. And I thought it was because I was so cool. I thought that I was so cool. I was as cool as a cucumber that the boys didn't want to mess with me, all right? Because I just kept seeing my peers getting initiated 1 week after another, and there was only two of us, me and Peter Trakakis. Trakakis. We were the only two that had not received our hazing.
Oh boy.
And so they waited for a rainy day.
Oh.
A very rainy and cold day. And this is what my team decided to do to me. They literally stripped me in front of the cheerleaders, all right, down to my underwear. Now I have to say, Cooper, the manufacturer of hockey products, your underwear is amazing. And I'll tell you why. So not only was I stripped down to my underwear and dragged through gravel and mud and rock and grass, but my friends tried to rip that underwear off my body. Now I was holding on for dear life, and they were pulling from one end and from the other and from the front and from the back, and it just wouldn't tear. So CCM, thank you. Those are really, really good underwear. But as I'm walking back to the locker room, you have to walk through a parking lot. All the cheerleaders were lined up on one side of the door and on the other side of the door. And Ali Dia came from behind and pulled my underwear down. Now, I was having a George Costanza moment. For those of you who watch Seinfeld and know about the shrinkage episode where he goes into the pool and things, start to shrink, right, become smaller. This had essentially happened to me, and I was very, very embarrassed by it. But, Tony, I have to say, I was still able to bag 2 of those cheerleaders.
There you go, man.
So even on my day where I wasn't feeling so confident, it still turned out.
Turn a negative to a positive.
That's right. I made lemonade out of lemons, baby.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's always, and it's so weird with football initiation. Well, for me, it wasn't like that, but they just shaved my head like in the
middle,
across the middle, and that like it was weird. I had to walk with that but it's crazy how most of the stories I heard are very like kind of homo. It's always like getting naked, like the guys getting you naked.
It's funny
it's always
you say that.
Bizarre,
because most of the players on my team, most of the French guys, okay, I'll say we're from a province that's bilingual, so we had a lot of English and French bilingual kids on the team. All the French bilingual kids, they all took showers after practice. They all got beatings with the pads after, with pads, naked, in the shower, wet. And to Tony's point, yes, why is it so somewhat sexual in nature? Why does it have to be naked, nude, wet bodies? I don't get it.
Have you ever seen there's this show called Blue Mountain State. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You know the guy that does the Jack Reacher show?
Yes.
The new one? Like, he was a linebacker, Thaddeus, his name. And the hazing was putting an Oreo cookie in between the butt cheeks and running all the way across.
No.
If you drop the Oreo cookie, you gotta eat it.
No.
So it was all, and that show was like, embellished comedy, if ever you get to, just to show how, and Thaddeus, the character, had kind of his, like when he was looking at men, like he kind of had that gay,
homosexual look.
The look to it. So it was so funny. It's like an exaggeration, but it's so funny. And you say they were pulling down your pants, and I always think of that, the Oreo in the butt cheek, and if you drop it, you have to eat it. It's always something weird like that with football. Why is that? In my era, the hazing was starting to be. We were still doing the hazing, but it was like eggs. They used to say no beating up.
Yes.
You guys could do eggs. You guys could shave people. Like there was nobody getting naked on the field. So I was lucky in a way.
Listen,
but it is weird.
I'm all for embarrassing. That's what hazing
Yeah.
should be. But when it comes to like beatings and stuff, like okay, simmer down, guys. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of testosterone in young males, but it's far more exciting to embarrass somebody, film it, and then have that and share that, and and that makes for a fun experience.
And it's all in good fun because
Exactly.
as guys we like to joke around and make fun, to a certain limits. Like say the beatings are a bit okay. But we need to play a game in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
We don't want
like
anybody
who's
getting
beating
into
your ass at home to the point where you got to come to the football field and start beating on your teammates.
My mom already beats my ass, so I don't need anybody else to beat my ass when I was younger. My mom did the job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Mama didn't raise no bitch over here. That's right.
Hey, mama beat me, but you know what? I got respect for people.
That's right.
That's for sure.
That's right. All right, Tony. So tell us, what is your most embarrassing high school
Honestly,
story?
we're gonna have to leave for that because I really couldn't.
I thought you had one.
Well, I have one because I spoke about the toes, the socks, and the sandals, making fun of the toes.
Okay, so who
So
made fun
I
of
was
your toes, man?
In high school one time we had like a beach day, and this guy was joking about my toes. I'm like, already my brother jokes around, but that's at the house,
Yeah.
Now it's at school with a bunch of people, My brother always joked around, and we laugh about it. But now somebody at school is telling me this, so that's why socks, sandals. No, not like for me, anyways. Like that ET phone home on the. Anyways, bro, it is what it is,
Listen.
man. It was embarrassing, And in high school, every little thing, you feel embarrassed, or you're paranoid of it being embarrassing because you're a kid, so you're really trying to prove yourself to everybody. So it's that was my moment. So I kind of explained before, so that's why when we're having the discussions,
I got you.
I thought I'll put the story in one of our topics.
Gotcha.
And I didn't mention it was high school, but outside of my brother, it happened once in high school.
I am convinced that every extremity was made for a specific reason, and you will one day find the hole that your ET toe was meant for.
Well, I know that it can point towards the northeast, and the northwest. That's what I know.
It serves as a compass, people. Tony can never get lost. Even if he put on 2 left shoes, still couldn't get lost. Could've. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this evening's show. We had a great time. Once again, thank you so much for your support and our sponsor support. If you'd like, please share, like, and comment our content. We are on TikTok, Facebook, and on Instagram. We're working on other platforms as well. But for each and every one of you that came out to support us and continues to support us week after week,
guys.
we love you so much. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be here doing this if it weren't for you guys. Thank you. We love you. Tony, send us off, man.
Making my way downtown, walking past and I'm homebound. When passing my name to the crowd. And I miss you. And and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think Shane will stop the feed? 'Cause I am not gonna stop. If I could just see you tonight.